Hey Aries, thanks for visiting. This is your reading for August 26th to September the 1st. I nearly said December, I did that before. And yeah, if you like this reading, as I always ask you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if that's what you'd like to do, I don't mind. And yeah, I'll just start your reading right now for Aries. So, okay, so the first card you have your past, the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so this is the most frustrating card for any Aries. It's probably the worst card to get for an Aries. It absolutely drives you crazy. He's just sitting there. He's not doing anything. You like movement. You want things to happen. And this is like nothing is happening. It's driving you crazy. And I think there are a few different things that you're waiting for. And you waited and you waited and you just gave up and you moved on. I think you moved on physically, but I think you've still had all this on your mind. It was still driving you a bit crazy. It might still be now. I'm seeing some kind of thing you had that you're in talks about something maybe, or you were talking to someone about getting something off the ground, and maybe that was going backwards and forwards a bit, and then that was kind of stuck and that drove you crazy. You're kind of frustrated about that, so you kind of just left that. And I think also, you know, there's a love situation here as well, and I think someone might have looked as if they're interested, or they might have kind of got only up to a certain point, and then they kind of disappeared the other way, or they're kind of acting a certain way and you got a certain idea, and kind of that was kind of a bit stuck as well. There was some kind of strange thing going on there. That was stuck as well, driving you crazy. It didn't get anywhere. And yeah, I'm actually seeing someone going backwards and forwards a bit, but then nothing came out of this. And one thing you hate is wasting time. So I think that's what this person did. Whether they meant to or not, you know, you felt as if they wasted your time. So that kind of drove you crazy. So the strange thing is I am getting here that this person did have feelings for you. I think you knew that though. I think you know that now. Look at the way the Knight's looking at this coin. It's like he's in love with it. He adores this coin, adores I should say. And you know, it's golden and it's lighting up his whole world. The whole sky's golden. And that's how they felt about you, but they weren't showing you that. But I think if this person had a few worries, a few kind of concerns, and they didn't tell you any of this. They didn't tell you anything, I don't think. They kind of left you kind of hanging and wondering what was going on. You know, this is Pentacles, so obviously this is something around money. There's a money element to this. So I think you might have been taken advantage of in your past, maybe. I think someone tried to, or they tried to do this. And so that's kind of made you very wary of other people, or wary of this happening to you again, maybe. And that's understandable. But maybe this is what scared this person away. I'm not saying it's your fault, but I'm getting this feeling of someone kind of worrying about being accused of taking advantage, or being perceived as being negative in some way towards you, or being like someone else that brought you harm. I think that was the kind of thing. And I think they're a little bit nervous as well as coming across to you in that way. I think they're worrying about giving you the wrong impression and all of that kind of thing. So I think they hid a lot from you. There are a lot of feelings that were hidden as well. I think they hid everything from you in the end. And you know, obviously this Knight, he's not doing anything, he's just sitting there. But we know what his feelings are. He's just not moving. He's cautious. He's worried. That's why he's holding back. He's a very cautious Knight. He really thinks about things very carefully before he does anything. And I think this person was really mulling over everything, thinking about everything over and over again. And, you know, and they weren't showing you how they were feeling because they were kind of really, really worried. And so it kind of turned into nothing in the end. That's what I'm seeing. It was frustrating. I think you're still thinking about this, but that's what I was seeing in that card. So the next card you have your past is the Knight of Wands. So here's the opposite Knight of the Knight of Pentacles, the complete opposite. And I think you might have looked a little bit like this to them. A little bit of a loose cannon. You look like this to a lot of people, actually. You know, someone who just rolls with things. They say whatever they want. They do whatever they want. Everything lands wherever it lands, and whatever happens, happens, and that's it. So, you know, people see you like this sometimes, and I think this person saw you a little bit like this as well. But, you know, you're very disciplined. A lot of people don't see that side of you. And I don't think they did. You know, you're focused, you're disciplined, you're all those things. But this is the card of action. You know, when you want to do something, you want it done. Once you've made your mind up about anything, you want it done. And that's why this time was so frustrating for you. Everything around this whole time for you, not just in this relationship, but in everything. It was extremely frustrating because you're like, right, let's get this done, let's get that done. And you couldn't. The other thing I'm seeing here is a little bit of frustration again. This is so frustrating. This is about some other people who are close to you, I think, especially one person who's very, very close to you. And I think there's a little bit of a subtle thing going on here. I don't think anyone came out and said, I need help, give me some help. But I think it might have been implied that you should automatically help this person. And you felt a bit put out by that. It's like, you know, you do help people all the time. You're very helpful. You like to help people, especially people who are very close to you. You give them a lot of help. But I think you might have been hesitating around this particular thing, because whoever this was, they don't have a lot of discipline. They kind of struggle with managing things for themselves. You know, they can if they want to, if they tried. But they're not doing that. Because if you look at this knight, he's out of control of this horse. You know, it's jumping up and down and he can't control it. So I think because of that, you might have been in two minds about this. It's like you do care about them, but it was kind of almost as if you expected to pick up after them because they weren't in control, and they could have been. So there was a lot of frustration. I can't quite see if you did or you didn't help them in the end. You might still be thinking about this, I don't know. But there's a lot of frustrations going on all over the place here, and in every aspect of your life, I think. And it was exhausting as well. I think it tired you out. You're probably still tired. So that's what I'm seeing there. Anyway, so the last card you have your past is the Six of Swords. So yeah, you did move on. You moved on from this love connection, from this person. You walked away from them physically. I think you were still thinking about them a bit. You might still be. There's this frustration you're thinking about. I think you had a lot of questions. You know, why did they act like this? Why did this happen? Why didn't they come out and say if they had a problem or whatever? And I actually think they're also thinking about you, and I think they still are, actually. I'm getting this really strong feeling that they might have been around you once as a friend, and it was looking as if that was going to lead into something else, and it kind of did a bit, but then it kind of went backwards again, maybe, or went nowhere, like this night, something like that. But I actually think they're not around you at all now. They were once, and now they're not. Because I keep on seeing this kind of friend situation, and you're not happy with that. But yeah, I think these questions and all these thoughts and everything that were inside your head, and everything else, I think they're starting to fade away now, all these kind of frustrations and everything. They're probably still there, like these swords in front of this woman on this card, but they're going to fade away soon if they haven't already. And I think then you're going to start to totally focus on yourself again, which you usually do anyway, and where you're going and what you're going to do. There are some people around you who you probably should be more open to, but I think you feel more comfortable focusing on yourself. And I think that's probably what you're going to do for a while anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. So I hope that makes sense anyway. So the first card you have your presence, the Five of Swords. Yeah, this is very nasty. I don't like this man. It's horrible. But yeah, you're letting things go, like these two men that are just walking away. It's like, I'm just giving up on this. I'm just letting this go. I'm not going to fight for any of this anymore. It's completely crazy. I'm just going to walk away. I'm not going to be frustrated. I'm just going to be by myself, concentrate on myself. I'm looking at this and the Six of Swords as well. And you know, when I see swords, quite often I think of words. You know, if you take the S away from swords, you have words. So I think there are still some words in your mind. They might be around you for a little while. They are fading away. I was seeing that in the Six of Swords, and they're going to continue to fade away. but they're probably still there a bit now, going around in your head. And you keep on collecting these words in your head. You know, you've got these questions in your head around this love connection. You've got other conflicting things going on, things that you're frustrated about, things that people have said to you. I think you collect these words in your head. There's a huge amount of words in there. A lot of them are negative, actually. You know, people have said negative things to you when you're growing up and more recently and all the time. It's like you have a whole library of words in your head, actually. That's horrible, because a lot of them are negative. And yeah, it's really horrible. I know this probably sounds a bit silly. It sounds like I'm giving you a silly solution, but there are also a lot of positive words and a lot of positive actions around you as well. People giving you positive vibrations and that kind of thing. Try to focus on those. I know it's not easy. I'm exactly the same. You know, 100 people can say fantastic things to me, and then I'll remember the one bad thing. So if you can, try to focus on the good as much as you possibly can. Again, I know that's not easy, but you don't want to be a collector of swords, a collector of these negative words. Don't keep collecting them and collecting them and collecting them. It's really not good. Collect the positive. Collect the positive. Collect sums. So the next card you have here present is the Page of Cups. So yeah, this is really fun, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of light-heartedness in here, and this is about messages. So I think there is a message coming into you. I think you've probably already had a lot of messages coming in from this particular person. They might have gotten a little bit lost, maybe, because I think you've been busy. I think you've had a lot of other messages coming into you as well. I think you've got a really full inbox. I'm just seeing a box with a big high number on there in red on top of the box. So I think these messages might have gone a bit lost in the middle of everything else. And even then, I think even if you have seen these messages or noticed them, they're very subtle. They're very cool. They're a bit fun, a bit playful, kind of like this page, but cool. You know, they're not like, oh, really warm and open and obvious. They're kind of just a little bit cool. You know, he's wearing a blue hat, so he's kind of playing it cool. So, you know, it might be that they made a few little jokes and things like that, trying to kind of make you laugh a little bit or whatever. But, you know, you're not very good at noticing subtlety because you're not like that yourself. So it's really hard to notice that kind of behaviour in other people if you don't do that yourself, because usually we go around and we kind of see things in terms of our own experiences. So, you know, you might not have noticed these things, and I'm the same. I don't notice these little kind of things. They go over my head. I had someone messaging me recently, and I didn't even register what they were trying to tell me. I was like, I don't know unless you come out and kind of say it right to my face, I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, anyway, I think you will eventually notice this, but I think you might have already noticed this person a little bit, but you haven't understood the meaning behind these subtle messages. It might be that. But I think they are probably going to start ramping these messages up. They're going to be a lot more kind of bold. They're going to be a little bit more obvious about what they're saying to you. So if you haven't noticed this already, you're going to notice this soon. And this person's really interested in you as more than a friend. That's what I'm seeing. And yeah, I'm just picking up on something else here. I'm getting this feeling of defensiveness around you. It's almost like you feel as if you're a little bit on the defense. Especially around potential love connections, but around some other people as well. Not everyone. And I think this person, I'm seeing the Page of Pentacles, I think they might have been feeling that around you as well, a bit of this defensiveness around your energy. And, you know, I think they might have started to come forward, or they thought about it. They weren't taking a lot of action, they were just thinking a lot, because they're coming up as the Knight of Pentacles. But you know, I think they were thinking about this, and then they'd feel this defensiveness, and then they think, oh no, I won't do anything, I won't say anything. That's what I'm seeing there. And I think this is coming up here because you've got this person in the Page of Cups, you've got this other opportunity here in love, you've got this chance here. It's a big chance with them. So I think the message here is that maybe you need to work on this defensiveness, or coming across as being a bit defensive. And I can see why you might be like this, because you have these horrible words in your head and other things as well. But just have a think about this if that resonates with you, because you might be coming across as a bit closed, a bit defensive, you know, looking for a tiny thing to kind of bother you. Don't be angry, I'm not picking on you, but you know, I'm trying to help you so that you can work through anything that might be a problem, so that you can kind of move forward in your life. That's what I'm trying to do. So, and you know, this is Aries, so this is about me too. So the last card you have, your presence, the Queen of Cups. Okay, so this is the most attractive queen. She's the most beautiful queen. You know, she loves beautiful clothes and jewels, and she's very emotional. She's very, very feminine. So I think this new person's very, very attractive. They're physically attractive. You know what, I'm also seeing this other person as extremely attractive. This person in the Knight of Pentacles. Very, very, very attractive, physically attractive. So yeah, you have this, again, you have this defensiveness around you, and I think this is because of circumstances that have happened to you over time, things that have happened around you as well that you've witnessed. And you know, I think these things have sort of molded you into this kind of person who's a little bit closed off, someone who doesn't like to open up. And I'll show you how I'm seeing that. I'm going to just move this up a little bit so you can see the Queen properly. So yeah, so first of all, if you look at this Queen and you look at her cup, where her emotions are, because that's what cups are all about, obviously, there's a lid on her cup, it's closed. So you're kind of closed off, and the reason why you are is because there are these stones all around this Queen's feet, and they're smooth stones in these different colours in this card. So and the reason why they're smooth is because the water's moulded them. It's as if it's washed over them over the years. It's washed over them and over these stones, and they've become smooth. So it's like you've felt all these emotions, and because of all of these things that have happened to you over the years, and that's what's moulded you as a person. Now, I'm not saying you're this horrible person that never ever opens up to anyone, and you're kind of closed off and you're nasty and you don't talk to anyone. I'm not saying that at all. This is about a feeling that you get inside yourself when you start getting too close to someone. Some people notice this. I think this past love connection that I'm seeing here in the Knight of Pentacles, they notice that. But some people don't. A lot of people don't, actually. This isn't about them. This is about how you feel inside yourself. So if this all resonates with you, you know, I'd love to be able to say, do this and you'll fix everything forever, but I can't do that. But recognizing this, that's the start of doing something about it. Paying attention to this is a start. So it's a similar thing to what I was seeing in the Page of Cups, this kind of defensiveness, and this Queen of Cups is kind of showing you how this has happened to you. So if this resonates, try to recognize that, think about that, and think about how you can move forward from that, if you can. I'd love to be able to give you an idea of how, but I really don't. I'm sorry. I'd love to be able to give you a good reason, but not a reason, a good solution to that. I might think of one, but I can't think of one now, I'm sorry. So the first card you have for your future is, the Six of Wands, which I love. I love this card. This is fantastic. So, yeah, I think you know this thing. I think you might be either on the verge of getting some kind of victory. This is work related, or you've already gotten this victory. It's some big thing, big milestone or something like that. And I keep on getting, you know this, you know it's coming, or you know you've had it, or it's kind of about to come, or it's something like that. So you know it's there. And I think some people around you are going to be happy for you, but I think you know this quite well. Some aren't. They're not going to be happy at all, you know that. So you actually have a few people around you who might see you as undeserving of this, actually. You know, you're not. You're deserving of this, of course, but I think even if you were, you know, there's enough success and recognition to go around for just about everyone. So, you know, just because you have this doesn't mean you're taking anything away from anyone else. But, of course, there are always people who aren't going to see it like that. But if you look at this horse, obviously it's a white horse, and represents, white horses represents purity, virtue, all of that kind of thing, being humble, down to earth. So even though this man's riding high up in this horse, his intentions are pure. You know, he's got the success, but he's not kind of, oh, I'm up here, I'm fantastic. It's like, yes, I have this success, but I have pure intentions. I'm down to earth and all of that. So, but the thing about this horse is, he's covered up apart from his head. So only his head's showing. So his whole body's covered up. So only some of the people are going to see these good intentions in you, that you are humble, you are down to earth, that you aren't like this guy up on his high horse saying, look at how amazing I am. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to just see the body of the horse, and they're not going to see that white horse's head. They're not going to see that purity in you. It's going to be quite obvious as to who these people are. So I would say, don't worry about that. If you know your intentions are pure, if you know that you're doing the right thing, don't worry about any of these people, because part of that's a little bit of envy. Part of it's because a lot of people don't look below the surface, or beyond the surface, I should say, of certain things. You know, they just lazily look at things and they categorize people. This person's good, this person's bad, this person's right, this person's wrong. They don't see beyond that. They don't see, okay, we're all humans. We all have good and bad and everything in between in us. We're you know, we're multi-dimensional. Sometimes we're like this, sometimes we think this, we cry, we laugh. They don't see that. You know, they just think, oh, that person's good, that person's bad, that person's this. You know, they're very, very simplistic in the way they think. So really, don't worry about what people like that think. You know, there's a lot of envy around this anyway, and I think you know who these people are. Rise above them. That's what the message in this is as well. You know, this guy up on his high horse. Rise above any of these kind of nastiness that's around you, if that does happen to you. So, excuse me. So the next card you have for your future is the Eight of Cups. Yes. So this is quite an interesting card to get here. I think this person who you've moved on from, again, I'm seeing them still thinking about you. I think they still watch you, probably on social media, because I think you're probably far away from each other physically now. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a distance between you. So maybe that's the only way they can see you. And yeah, they still have feelings for you. I'm seeing that as well again here. So, you know, I'm just looking at this wall of cups on here, this kind of wall of emotions. And there's a little hole, there's sort of a little window where the third cup's missing. And that's what they're doing. They're kind of looking at you, because you can see this man through the hole. So they're kind of looking at you through this little window of their emotions. And I actually think they're going to contact you again. I think they will contact you again, actually. But it's still going to be this kind of cold, not cold, but kind of like, oh, hello, how are you? Da 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 da. And you're going to be like, well, what's the point of that? You know, I don't want to be your friend. I either want to be with you properly, or I don't want to be with you at all. So I don't think you're going to be interested. You know, so. And I just think you're probably going to leave this, and you don't like going backwards anyway. So that's what I'm seeing. I think that last bit of contact that's going to come from them, I think it's really just going to confirm that for you. It's going to be like, well, nothing's changed, everything's the same. You know, even if I am a bit defensive, if this person wants to come close to me, they'll try to get past that if they really care about me, if they really want me. I'm not saying you should test people, but I kind of see that as well. You know, if people aren't going to keep on trying, it's like, well, okay, not that everyone should keep trying. Anyway, I'm digging myself into a hole. I think you know what I mean. So the last card you have for your future is the Ten of Wands. Yes. Okay, so all right. So I know this is going to sound really, really obvious, but this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this quite literally. So you have this victory coming up, or you already have this victory that I'm seeing in the Six of Wands. and it's a work victory. Now, you don't get there, you don't get to these kind of victories by just sitting around thinking. You get there by hard work, and that's what's on this card. Now, there's nothing wrong with hard work, it's absolutely fine, of course, but you might be creating a little bit of a cage for yourself. If you look at this man, you know, say if we went around to the other side of this man and we looked at him through the wands, it'd look as if he's in a cage. Now, I think you're going along, you're doing the same thing, you're doing a lot of the same things over and over again, and it's working for you, that's absolutely fine. But you're kind of on a bit of a treadmill, I think. You're doing the same thing, and I think because you're doing that, you might be creating a bit of a cage for yourself. You might have other projects, you might have other ideas, things you want to do, different things you want to branch out into, but you can't do them because you're spending all this time on this kind of treadmill, and you're creating this cage so that you can't get out of that cage. So, you know, if this is resonating with you, at least take some time off, start planning these other things. It's funny, this is applying to me actually, so I need to listen to this myself. But yeah, don't create a cage for yourself. Take some breaks, allow yourself to open up to other things, new things, because I think you do have a lot of ideas around you. I think you do think, oh, I'd like to do that, I'd like to do this. But no, I have to keep on this treadmill, on this, you know, so you are creating some kind of a cage for yourself if that's what you're doing. So, Aries, I hope that all made sense to you. There was so much there. But yeah, I hope it resonated. General readings can't always resonate with everyone, as you know. But again, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, all of that if you'd like to. And thank you so much for watching.